we're gonna first of all, we're gonna ignore how I just kind of came out the shower, but I'm feeling productive. So it's best to just be productive than to lose that productivity. But I kind of want to give a small update. Um, after my crash out. Um, so I don't know what got into me, but I started feeling a sudden surge of productivity. I took a nap, so maybe having sleep is part of it. So I'm gonna go to sleep after I do this, but after I record this and schedule it to post. But um, but I've been kind of in that mindset, at least right now in the past I would say 3 hours of I need to get my shit together. Because I need to get my shit together. Because right now my grades are not looking so hot in certain areas. Like, and I need to kind of boost them up because I'm not used to them being this low and it's kind of freaking me out. So I'm kind of trying to search in what direction I want to go in. And I know I have future plans for I'm gonna live with one of my friends and we're gonna go abroad and stuff. But first and foremost, right now I'm getting credits for my associates, and I'll have a certificate when I exit high school. So I'll need to finish my associates in business, and then after that, I'm going to need to get. Oh, I don't need, but it'd be very helpful for me to get a bachelor's degree in something that uses the same credits or prerequisites, so I can just continue studying. And during this time, I do plan to go to school. I'm not. It's not like I'm going to be going to school full time, which it really depends. I think if I work part time on days or after college classes, I think I'll be okay because I do want to go to college full time and do school part time, even though that might be a little bit stressful. And I've seen it with my older friends; they get really stressed out with that kind of thing. Um, it is something I want to do because I want to save up money for when I go with my friend to study more. And so actually I'm gonna go check that right now because I actually haven't checked. Because if the worst case scenario is I just get a bachelor's in business, and is that really that bad? No, but it'll probably be in HR, and I'm not a fan of HR. I like working with people. Don't get me wrong. It can be a little bit nerve wracking sometimes, and I do find it to be a little pressuring to work with people sometimes. And I just feel like sometimes I'm not the nicest person, but I do enjoy working with people. I just think it's not my end goal for something I want to do, especially depending on what part. If you're recruiting, if you're hiring, if you're the firing person, if you're the person who deals with all of their issues, it really depends. So, and also the restrictions that it kind of gives you as an doing HR where you can't really have relationships with your coworkers. It's kind of not a good thing in the HR world to build relationships with friendships and stuff with your coworkers because it can be seen as bias. But anyways, I digress. Um sorry, I like using I digress. But otherwise, I'm going to go check those prerequisites right now and then I'm going to come back in a second. Okay. So, looking at the prerequisites for my community college, which I'm going to be finishing my associates in, and the university, which I plan to get my bachelor's in. Sorry. Um, it has the same prerequisites as liberal arts, psychology, sociology, communications, and information and computer sciences. I'm going to rule out information and computer sciences because chemistry made me realize I really don't like science. I like biology, don't get me wrong. I love biology. Biology, I wouldn't say I just barely passed, but at least for standard college level, I just barely passed my AP exam. So, yeah. Um, or paralegal studies. Paralegal studies seems pretty cool. But liberal arts, I really like writing, and I don't mind math. Psychology, sociology, kind of my special interest sometimes. And paralegal studies is also something I'm kind of interested in doing. So that's kind of my plan, right? So I'm like trying to like map out my different options here. For the most part, that is my main course of what I'm sure I'm going to do. Is that I'm going to finish my associates in business, and then I'm going to use those this whatever has the same prerequisites. I'm just going to go into a bachelor's for something like I said, liberal arts, psychology, sociology, communications, or paralegal studies. And then I'm gonna have a few more years until my friend gets out of college. Because okay, so my friend, I love her so much. She plans to go to an art college in the mainland. Um, I'm not sure if I'm like doxing myself by saying the mainland, but I don't live in the mainland. Um, sorry, I'm not disgusted by the mainland. I'm just kind of scared of the mainland. Sorry, mainlanders. Um, I'm just a little bit scared. Nothing against you guys. Um, gulp. Sorry. I picked that up from somebody. I hate them so much. Not really. I love them. They're my friend. But I hate that I picked that up. There's so many things I've picked up from the people I hang around. Anyways, but yeah, nothing against people who live in the mainland. I'm just not used to it. Anyways, moving on. My friend wants to go to the mainland for an art degree, and so she's going for a bachelor's. She's not taking any as far as I'm concerned, she's not taking any AP classes or she's not taking any advanced placement or early college or whatever running start. I think is running start a thing? I think so. Um so she's gonna be going the full 4 years, and she's not taking any like prerequisite classes before starting college. So she's just gonna be going on like a blank slate. I've been doing early college classes since my sophomore year, and it's not too bad. Um, Clearly, I learned from it, and then I got worse because my speech teacher was telling us, don't repeat words, don't say and too much, don't say too much. You can't say no. You can't say no is a whole other thing because it's community service. And honestly, I probably should keep sticking to the things that he taught us, but is also something you couldn't say. However, it's a little bit difficult because it's been such a long time, but however, maybe I oh my gosh, I will start trying again soon because I do think it helps a lot with kind of expressing yourself and being taken seriously. That's just something I'll have to do in the future though. And then I also took I so yeah. So last year I took um like a business class, like almost like a customer service. Basically, I took customer service and in like introduction to technology and kind of like professional tech, and it's basically just spreadsheets and Excel, web, this and that. And this year, so far I've taken management, speech, and then I also I'm taking another management class now, as well as a marketing class, and then next year I think I'll be taking I'll be taking in an English 100 and math is also math 100, and then I'll be taking another management class maybe, and there's another class that I don't remember what I'll be taking, but there's another class. But that's sorry, I'm like going off on a tangent. But yeah, so I'm gonna be getting my associates. She's gonna be starting from scratch, and so that gives me some time to save up a little bit more than what she'll be able to do, which is good for me. because that just means I can support us a little bit more because that's what I want to do as a friend. I want to be supportive, which is why I'm going with her in the first place. But also, I think it's a good opportunity, and I like taking opportunities. I just haven't been doing it a lot recently. So she's okay. Sorry, I've been going off on such a long tangent that I don't remember how I got here. But my option A is finish my associates in business, get a bachelor's for something that needs similar credits. So, like what I discussed with liberal arts, psychology, sociology, communications, and paralegal studies. I want to learn as much of the language of where we're going as possible. And then, obviously, the goal is to save up. And then, my first choice is to go to the same college as she's going to. However, she already takes the language of the place that we're going to, and so she's way ahead of me, and I kind of learn from YouTube videos and TikTok. So I've been learning this language, and I've been learning Tagalog, and I've been learning ASL. So yeah, I've been all over the place. My option B is basically the same first three, first four, and then my last option is to go to a different university but in the same area for humanities, and my last option is to go again in the same area but probably a different university for either CG illustration, or there's this course for VTuber creators who draw the models and rig them, and I just think that's really interesting. And my entire point of wanting to do CG and illustration is so I can work with VTubers. So yeah, maybe even become a VTuber, but that's a little bit too much. Um, but yeah, so that's currently like my game plan, and I don't like I said I've been feeling like at least like because I took a nap and I ate food and like I took a shower. I've been feeling very productive, and so I was like kind of like sorting this out because I do want to figure out things for my future, and then what I wanted to do, or not what I wanted to do, what I did do is that I started my essay that's due on Friday, so I'm not going to be starting it and finishing it on Friday. Because it's Tuesday? So Tuesday, and then tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit more. It's 2 to 4 pages, so we're gonna see where this goes. Hopefully somewhere good, because yeah, I'm not doing too hot in my English class right now, which is kind of odd because usually I do pretty well in my English class. But honestly, I've just been so out of it. But yeah. Oh my goodness, wait, sorry. I got distracted. I realized I was talking about animes that I hate. By the way, these animes that I hate are like also my favorites. But anyways, sorry, I'm like getting off track again. But yeah, I think that I'm super excited for the future. I'm also super scared, but I think I need to start blaming others less for the things that I'm scared for, because I know for a while I was kind of like blaming like my parents always scared me about this, but I know they're just trying to warn me. It just kind of like in my brain it goes too far. That it'll be fine. I can travel alone. I can do this. I can do this. I can be a functional human being in the future. And then I guess I was also thinking in my head about like downsizing. I feel so bad because okay, I love the color brown. 100%, I love the color brown. I have not been wearing any colors, but then at the same time I'm like, should I donate them or should I just wait because I might want to wear colors again. And I've just been waiting because I don't like, what if I give something away and then I feel bad and I'm like I suddenly want to wear it again. I don't know, I'm a hoarder. I'll figure that part out eventually, but that's something else. um oh, also I got a lamp from my teacher. I'm taking that with me when I move. Why? Because it was a free lamp. it was free. Anyways, aside from that, um, I'm excited to think about the future and about the things that I might do and the people I might see. And like I said, like I was feeling FOMO about like how much I'm going to miss of my friends' lives, um, when either they move away or when I move away, because I do have friends that are moving to, like, aside from the friend that I want to move with, I do have other friends who are going to college in the mainland. A lot of them, actually, like a big majority of them, are going to college in the mainland. And I think, if that's what they want to do, that's great because we get very limited options here. Or there's just opportunities for more in the mainland. And yeah, I do see that. And I do understand that. And also, living here is kind of expensive. And a lot of, I don't know. Okay, well, I guess here it's not that weird to live in like multi generational households, especially like for almost everyone. And so it's not really weird if you're living with your parents here. Is it uncomfortable for some people? Sure. And do they move out eventually? Yeah, to start their own family. But it's also, like I said, it's not that uncommon to have multi-general households. So if I just decide to stay here and live with my parents, which they were talking to me about this, but they're like, you don't have to move out. You know that, right? And I'm like, really? You guys make it seem like you want me to move out. And they're like, no, we're joking with you. Stay as long as you want. And so my response was, I'll think about it, but I kind of do want to, experience things. But maybe in the future, after a few years, when my parents get up in age, I probably will come back to come take care of them. But until then, I want to live my life a little bit, and then I'll come back. Or if it's possible, I'll move my parents out there with me somewhere, wherever I am. There's a lot of places that I thought of living, um, just for like cultural experience and like I guess learning about like I want to learn about linguistics. I think it'd be pretty cool to take a class on linguistics too. Linguistics would be pretty cool to take. I'm not sure what that be. Would that be under communications? No. Hold that thought. Linguistics. Oh my gosh. Linguistics is under humanities. So if I take humanities class, then I I'll get to learn about linguistics. I think linguistics is really cool. I think in general anthropology is really cool, especially how cultures kind of shape one another, and how because of like historical events, how again cultures shape one another, but also how languages shape one another. I also do okay. One thing I'm really curious about. So I'm gonna go on more tangents because I'm talkative right now because I took a nap and I ate and so I have a lot of energy and I just took a shower and I feel very refreshed. Um, One thing that I'm very curious about is kind of like Filipino culture because okay, I know Filipino culture. I'm I'm not sure if you can see it or if I look it, but I'm Filipino. I'm mostly Filipino. Do I know a lot about my culture? So and so, but I I'm not talking about like modern day culture because modern day culture is very much shaped by like the colonizers and the people who kind of reigned over the Philippines for a long time. I'm talking about like true to tradition, like culturally, like the original culture, not like the one brought over from colonialism or whatever. And I'm curious because I know that a lot of things like Christianity and yada 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 yada, that's mostly Western things. Same as Christmas and whatever. They celebrate a lot of the same things, and their language is they use Western symbols. Is that what you call them? Alphabets, and if they hadn't been colonialized, I don't think they would have. Same thing with so many parts, but they have a lot of English words. English is their second national language, and it's really cool over there. But I'm very curious about what the culture was like before colonialism, which is a long, long time ago. So maybe one day I'll get to learn about that. That's like what I'm very curious about most cultures, though. Anyways, this is just starting to be me talking about how I want to learn about humanities and linguistics and stuff. But you know, shoot me for being interested in like other people and how like we all affect one another, like psychologically, emotionally, culturally, like even in terms of like slang and how that's made. It's a very interesting aspect. Like I I used to not really like slang all that much because of two reasons. Same with Hawaiian Pigeon. I'm like really sad to admit. I used to not like it because I thought it was improper. And to the Western world, it is. And I'm starting to understand why it's such a significant part, and I have been for a while, that it's not a bad thing to use, like, oh, wait, I kind of just doxed where I am, whatever, Hawaiian Pigeon, or it's not, like, inherently bad to use slang, because slang is something that's made up. It's something that we make up, but how do we make it up is my question. And also, how is things like slang kind of carried over to other cultures? Like 6-7 is a big thing, right? And there's a time where people were saying 6-7 different languages. 6-7, si siete, roku nana. It what's it? Hold on, wait, I gotta count. Wait. Oh, animpito, right? And I think it's really interesting. I was kind of, dude, it would have been really sad if I had to go, Hisa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima, anim, pito, walo, siyam, sampo. Da, 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 da. I love that song. Anyways, um, I'm not gonna start singing it. I'm sorry. This video is already longer than it should be. But yeah. So I'm trying to figure things out, and I hope I can stay on this grind because I do feel a lot better about myself. I think part of it again was to be reminded that I do care for these people and they care for me, and I do want to see them succeed in life. And so, on the way of watching that happen, I should be doing something I enjoy too. And a good part of it was me talking to my counselor and kind of sharing how like I'm kind of lost in life. And I think it's a good change to that I talked about it. I think that um I probably should still keep talking to her. I don't know. I could just tell her never mind. But I did say a little too much already. So we'll see. But um among other things, I'm feeling a lot better, and clearly I'm having like a resurgence of passion for just doing things in general. I might even start writing again. We'll see. Well, I guess I never really stopped writing. It's just the things that I was writing about started to get really worrying. But, anyways, that's my tangent rant, like of me talking and going on side tangents and like diverging from the original topic and just keep on talking. But yeah, this is a great one-sided conversation. Um, I love talking to myself, and yeah. What do I name this? I need to literally listen to what I talked about. I don't remember what I talked about. Anyways, bye.